Struggling at life, looking aggravated. Got straight to the money, no procrastinating. Buying anything I want, life's a vacation. You can tell by my walk, I'm activated. You can hear the way I talk, I'm activated. All day.
You already know. Across the way, U.S. to the U.K., you got the commissioner, a.k.a. Trill Dollar Bill. I got my co-host, my special co-host, that's filling in for my man Ricco. We got Mr. Neutral here. Mr. Neutral, show your love for Mr. Neutral.
What's good, Dollar Bill, mate. I've been excited for this all day. We are here.
Yes, we are.
Good evening to everybody in the chat.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to our bro Alexander. Shout out to our bro Jams. Shout out to Jab. We in the building. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely across the way. It's good to see you, my brother, Mr. Neutral. It's good to see you.
As usual, as always, mate. Across the way, one of my favourite shows in the iBoxingHub family. Never miss it, and it's just an absolute honour to be filling in for Ricco tonight with you, mate. Enjoyed last week. Let's meet part 2. A 1-2 for the fans to remember. Mr. T, salute to you too in the chat there.
Mr. T in the building. That's what I'm talking about. We got the fam in the building. This is gonna be one of those episodes, man. How's everything going with you, Mr. Neutral?
Well, to be truthful, mate, I'm annoyed. This boxing's annoyed me in the last couple of weeks yet again, but we'll get to that in a bit. Other than that, I'm fine. How are you? How's Savage, the family, everyone doing okay? That's what I like to hear.
Everybody is wonderful, man, and it's just a pleasure to be here on screen with you, my brother. Before we get the show started off, I just definitely want to send a shout out to our sponsors, D-Rock Clothing. Please, trailer, please, production. D-Rock Clothing. They don't get no better than that, man. You seen the team rocking the D-Rock Clothing. You know what I'm saying? Soon I'm going to do my photo shoot with the D-Rock Clothing on. And Mr. Neutral coming next. You already know what it is. D-Rock Clothing. Make sure that y'all use the code. Again, we're going to show that commercial again before we get up out of there. But make sure you use that iBoxingHub code 24 so you can get 40% off all merchandise, all the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But, big up to everybody in the chat. We're gonna get this show started off. First subject. This right here. This is the fight. This is the fight of the year right here. This is the fight that everybody's been talking about on the internet. Is everybody ready for this one? This is for the face of boxing. Turkey Al-Sheikh versus Canelo Alvarez. Who do you got? Who do you got for the face of boxing? Come on, talk to me, Mr. Neutral. You know how I feel about Turkey Al-Sheikh. You know what I'm saying? You know how I feel about him. Look, and I sent the bro a picture of him and Shakur Stevenson. I thought that was kind of dope. I was just wondering why he was so sweaty. You know what I'm saying? why are you so sweaty? You know what I'm saying? And then
the face of boxing, the jive Turkey versus Canelo Alvarez. I don't know, Jim. This is a close one to call.
Poor Eminem. I haven't seen him so sad to sit at ringside ever before in my life. Look at him. That's Eminem.
The motherfucker's holding his hand. That's why he looks so glum.
He's not happy to be there. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy.
He said, I wish I'd done this I wish I'd asked for 4 million instead of 2.
Nah,
this motherfucker's holding my hand under the camera here.
This is
I don't know. What an incredible outburst by Turkey Al Sheikh in the first place to think that it was a wise idea. I mean, it could have been anybody, whether the face of boxing, whether you think it's Tank, whether you think it's Crawford, whether you think it's Inouye. This man's attacked them all in some way or another. First of all, Inouye had rejected his advances when they sent a team over to Japan. He then turned around and said that Crawford is the number one pound in the world. Not to, he doesn't want to come straight out and say you've annoyed me. Then Tank rejected his advances, saying, just to speak to you, Turkey, I want 2 Ferraris. Well, Turkey Al Sheikh said something about there's a couple of dead Ferraris in the desert waiting for you. So this outburst against Canelo is just a long series now. And it's not only that. He's now come out and attacked the US infrastructure when it comes to hotels and your cinemas, your places of entertainment, the substandard. This guy is on, for me, put him on suicide watch because he's committing business suicide in America by attacking the faces of boxing. So I without the A sides, for me, Turkey will struggle to put on what you would call PPV worthy cards. Without the A sides, he cannot call a PPV card. And that's why he's annoyed. He's desperate to get these A sides. And without them, he'll only get the Crawford Virgil Ortiz fights. He'll only get, Zapida versus Shakur Stevenson's, or a British heavyweight battle. Anything to do with Matchroom, yes, he'll get them, a bit of top rank, but none of them are PPV stars anymore. Once you've got AJ that sails off into the wind, Matchroom have got nothing in the UK PPV wise. The same goes with Tyson Fury. But in America, I can count 3 PPV stars in the North Americas and 1 from Japan who don't need him. They don't need his money. They're not going to give up all their rights, Trill, just to say, this guy's paying me to hold his hand and let's walk down. Oh, no, fuck that. Come on, man.
Now, I totally agree with you, my brother. I think that Turkey Al Sheikh is like most powerful men with money, or most suckers with money. When you tell them no, they can't take it. They can't take it. He can't take no. And that's something that he's going to have to deal with because the top dogs don't want to go to bed with him. And rightfully so,
No.
They have to. The only person that has to is a Crawford. A Crawford who has had lackluster numbers due to the fact of people not supporting him. I get it. There was a lot to choose at 147 at that time. A lot of people, they had Spence. There was other people to root for at 147. You Spence, the Danny Garcias and the Sean Porters and the Ugas, everybody, Manny Pacquiao. Everybody had somebody to root for. So while Earl Spence was fighting the tougher fighters over there because PBC had the welterweight division on lock, he was getting the fanfare because he was fighting the guys who had fanfare as well and was the tougher fighters. While Bud was not getting the fanfare because he was fighting the guys that wasn't as known as the guys who was on the PBC roster. Not saying that his talent was enough to par. He just wasn't getting the eyes and the looks. Even Bob Arum had went out his way to say that he was losing money on Terrence Crawford's fights, that he said he could have bought a whole brand new mansion in Beverly Hills off the money that he lost on Terrence Crawford fights. Terrence Crawford, once again, right when Bob was trying to make the fight with Spence, he was like, no, I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. So he showed him and Bob bumping heads and how that wouldn't do good, and then numbers was coming back and his audience and stuff like that. Not saying taking away nothing from Crawford because we all know that Bud is a talented fighter, one of the best. It's just that his numbers wasn't adding up. I remember on an episode of Boxing Bros, my brother Caden, he begged viewers. He said, listen, if you're an Earl Spence fan or you're a Bud fan, whoever wins, I want you to get behind that fighter because so that fighter could be a star. If you don't get behind that fighter, it's gonna something bad's gonna he's gonna dwindle. You know, you got to get behind these people because a lot of people act like they like fighters, Mr. Neutral. They act like they care about the fighters, and they'll sit here and argue with us tooth and nail in the comment sections about their fighters, but they won't support their fighters. What I mean by support their fighters is these guys are so fast to go to a fire stick to watch a fight or try to find an illegal website to watch their fight instead of forking over the money for the pay-per-view to support their fighter, but want to argue about us about numbers. The numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And TC's
Right.
numbers wasn't added up. That's why he has to go to bed with Mr. Al Sheik, because he knows to get the money that he deserves or wants. He's going to have to go to him because nobody's going to pay him that money because the numbers show that they don't get a return back on their investment when you do business with a TC.
That's absolutely 100% true. And as I was saying before, without making Terence Crawford a star, he's gonna have to put on a card that will probably consist of Terence Crawford versus Virgil Ortiz. Big up Jams in the chat. And they're talking about Shakur versus William Zepeda. But I ask you this, Trey. I ask you this, and I ask the UK audience and everybody in the chat, is this fight a PPV worthy card? Considering what PBC have given us in the past 2 years. For me, it's not. What's your thought?
Well, you said, is this a pay-per-view card for PBC?
No, for Turkey Al Sheikh putting on, William Zepeda, Shaq, and
he
what's
needs
his
somebody.
name?
He needs somebody else. They can't hold it on their own. They can't hold it on their own. This got to be on the undercard or something. And I believe he was saying putting this on the undercard of what was that fight he was trying to make? Better Be than Bivol. He's saying he was
So they'd
probably
have to bring the foreign, what he would call the A sides, who both of them historically do not sell in the US.
Mhm.
So whether it's for an undisputed fight or not, putting that, but that's not viable because they're both fighting in Riyadh come October.
Yeah, see,
So
that's tricky.
that he needs, like, as you quite rightly said, quite 100%, he needs a dance partner that can call it PBV worthy, and there's just not a dance partner out there
No.
to do that. And for me, burning bridges with Canelo, Tank Davis, and Danui by acting the way he does, like a spoiled kid who doesn't get his way, who the word no is not in his vocabulary. Instead of going away and saying, right, okay, then I respect your decision for now, but let's leave the door open and we'll talk another time.
Yes,
That's what you do.
That's good.
That's how
business.
you do business.
That's
right?
good business.
You always. But this guy has decided to not only attack boxers, the face of boxing, but now he's attacking the American way of hosting a boxing match and criticizing the infrastructure. So for me, that's bad business, and he's not going to get up. He's up against a far losing battle within the American market.
You're speaking sense, Mr. Neutral, and that's what Mr. Turkey Alice Sheik doesn't have. He doesn't have any common sense, because there's no way would you feel like you would have the galls in this man. First of all, you know what I'm saying? Like the I don't know who he thinks he is. First of all,
it's one of these moments, Trey. It's one of these moments.
Yes, exactly. It's definitely like my man Dan Evans said in the comment section. He's coming across as a bit of a spoiled brat, to be honest. And you know what? That's what I've been saying the whole time. That's why when everybody was so big and high on this guy coming in and have a piece of trying to buy these companies and all the companies up, I said no, not one man should have all this power, especially not this man. You know what I'm saying? He's a fan of the sport. He does not love the sport. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it because he has money and he's using this as a power play. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that is dear to his heart. You know, like it's something like you guys in the comment section, or I, or Mr. Neutral. You know what I'm saying? These are not the things that we would do. We would never disrespect the top pound for pound fighters just because they don't want to lie in bed with him. You know, he cannot take no. That's why he cannot be in charge with anything. If he wants to be a fan and he wants to give up money and do this, that, and the third, like he's been doing, like like he put on a show and he give away cars and stuff like that for people to come to the show. Listen, he is really doing a lot. He's trying to buy friends. He's trying to buy favor. And it's crazy. If you don't play his game, he's going to shut you out like he's did to Tim Zazou, like Alexander pointed out, like he's trying to do to Canelo, like he tried to do the Inoue, like he tried to do the Tank, try to say that these guys ain't nothing. And the only one that can play ball with him right now is Crawford. That's the only one. But you got the top 5 guys in the pound for pound. Well, the top 4 is not messing with you.
And now, it's quite rightly, as Alexander Sankey says, big up Alex, Turkey has even gone after Tim Zhu. I've seen 2 attacks on Team Zhu from Australia. So he's managing to, upset the world globally. Australia, Japan, America, Mexico, the South, from the South going to Central America. The UK guys in Queensbury and Matchroom, they bent the knee far too easily for me. So Turkey Al-Sheikh was able to, put on a few good shows over in Riyadh season. The Charm Offensive coming to America was going well until his first fight night. His very first fight night. He had managed to get British promoters there. He had Aaron there, Golden Boy, Oscar, getting these people together, Eddie Hearn, Ben Shalom, getting these people together, and then goes and spoils it all by acting the way he did over Canelo. Look, we're going to get a lot of B fights. We got that are not going to be PPV worthy. That's going to upset the DAZN Matchroom gravy train. Without PBC, working in conjunction with the others, I don't think it's going to happen. He's upsetting too many people now. Maybe the money will come back, but what for me he's setting is a false economy trade. And what I mean by that is to get Crawford and Virgil Ortiz into the same ring, and to get Shaq and Zapita, he's going to have to lay some money down on the table. It's not going to be PPV money; it's going to be flat fee city. So he's going to overpay Crawford. He's going to overpay Shaq and Virgil Ortiz. Now the problem with that is, these guys do not like taking a cut in the next fights. Understand? Once you give them a certain level, as a boxing business, they cannot be seen to go below that level come fight, 2025, 2026. They can only be seen as going up. And when he gets bored of these B-level cards that he's going to put in, because there's only few A-siders left. Once he gets these B levels and they come at you thick and fast, and you're not getting the A sides, that's going to create a false economy where these B levelers are going to want more and more money, and it's going to be virtually the next requests are going to be on par with what the A siders get. But let's back to you.
No, it already happened. It already happened. That was actually
it's already happening.
That was actually my beef with PBC, and I was like, they're overpaying the fighters right now. I get Al Heyman's background. Okay, people got to understand Al Heyman's background. Like, this is what I felt like he was doing. Al Heyman was overpaying and overcompensating these fighters for bullcrap fights. You know what I'm saying? So when it was time for the real fights, they wanted way past the money that they was already, because Al Heyman always felt like the fighter should get the lion's share. Which is commendable. because what happened to his brother. His brother was a fighter, and his brother was done wrong by the business, and he seen what his brother went through, so he vowed, because he made money in other stuff, music promotions and music management with New Kids, with New Edition and other stars. That's how he made his money, concerts. So when he got into this, it was basically really out of love and out of helping other fighters, So it actually ended up hurting, though, because we stopped not getting the fights that we wanted because people wanted to be overcompensated. So I definitely hear what you were saying with that, because I thought that was the problem over there at PBC. It actually trickled over to other companies. And I do agree with you. I think that Turkey Al-Sheikh, his disrespect of the other fighters, and the reason why Crawford has to go there is what Dan Evans was saying, that we also highlighted. What did he say in his comment? He said the only reason Crawford likes him, his guys, is because he doesn't have a profile of a Canelo Tank in any way. That's what we were saying. That's what we was just talking about the numbers. When them numbers came back, he can't stand on his own. His revenue and stuff like that. He needs somebody, like you said, Mr. Neutral. He needs somebody that's going to overpay him, and not worry about the back.
Don't have to worry about back end. I don't have to sell the fight. I don't have to speak until fight week. And that's never going to meet you an A side.
The thing about Turkey Al-Sheikh in the fights, people always say, he's putting on the fights we want to see. I never wanted to see Canelo versus Crawford. That's a ridiculous fight to me.
It's fantasy.
I want to see, this like he's putting on fantasy fights for people, but all the other fights was gonna be made. You know what I'm saying? Like Bivol and Beterbiev was gonna be made. You know what I'm saying? These fights were gonna be made. You know what I'm saying? Without him, he just came in here and wanted to give a bigger bag and have it done over where he's at. But these fights was on the cusp of being made. So boxing was here before Turkey Al-Sheikh, and boxing will be here after Turkey Al-Sheikh. Nothing.
Amen.
He's not the savior. I want to. The fight would the sport would go on with or without him. You know what I'm saying?
Without 100%. I mean, boxing was here for 200 years before Turkey Al-Sheikh. Now, boxing kangaroo.
Fights are still happening without him is doing. I think people were smart. I think that people clown Eddie Hearn. I think everybody was clowning Eddie Hearn. I think even Crawford did. Crawford said, "Ha ha." He said, "That's why Turkey Al-Sheikh is paying your bills." You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's paying your bills, keeping your lights on. And then I'm smiling. Like, what is wrong with that, TC? At first, I gave you props because I was like, going back and forth with Eddie, that's fine. But at the end of the day, Eddie is the smart one. This clown want to use my platform. I can get free money, and he want to use my platform. And I don't have to use none of my bread. He going to use all his bread, and he can put on all these fights. Why not? Why not? Eddie, this is one of the smartest plays Eddie has ever used. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he want to be down. Yeah, I'm going to act like he's down. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to use him as a clown. Yeah, we're going to have him. Yeah, he want to pay. He want to pay to put his fights on. Yeah, we're going to use it on my network. He want to use promotion. Yeah, on my network. Yeah, we're going to give me that bread. As long as you give me that bread. Eddie is playing a smart game right here. You know what I'm saying? He's working smarter, not harder.
What makes me laugh about Eddie, what he's done, you remember a couple of years ago in Matchroom, he first went and said, "I'm going to dominate, I'm going to bring big fights to the USA," come knocking on the door, and he got kicked up the ass and he went away, with his ass scalped. But he's come back, he's brought his big brother. He's brought Turkey Al-Sheikh to the door once again. The door's been opened this time. And and they've said to Turkey Al-Sheikh and Eddie, "Right, let's hear it. We want to do this fight." Yeah. No. What do you mean, no? No. All right, stinky bastards. All right, fuck off. Door shut. He's done that now. He's upset 4 boxers that I know of. There may be more. In this, and I've been hearing stories that the fights he has put on, there's been a couple of
to come because he's
sad stories within that. And there's going to
He's
be
too
more.
arrogant.
There is going to be more. I want to go back to what the boxing kangaroo says when he says, so Bivol versus Batabiev isn't A-level. I didn't say it wasn't A-level. I said it wasn't an A-sided financial synonym of what A-side fights do PPV-wise. Because guarantee you anything, this would be a hard sell in America based on its own,
This would be free.
with a
This would be free.
very hard.
This would be free. But if you
It
put
should be
Shakur
free.
Stevenson on the undercard of this, then maybe you can make it a PBV and another fight. Give us another fight too, and it could be a PBV. But this fight is definitely Better Beeves and Bivol would have been free TV. There's nobody paying to see that.
Now they just charged you.
Except for the people that love boxing, except for the diehards.
They've just charged you $80 to watch Madrimov and the card, Morel, Cruz, etc., Andy Ruiz, Bacoli. A long ass card, right? 7 hours. And for me, it did. For what was reported to be something like 100,000 buys, less than that, right? I can't see a Crawford Ortiz headliner with an undercard of Shakur versus Sapida and whatever they put underneath that is going to be as worthy as the Madrimov card. Sorry, the Terence Crawford Madrimov card, which had, quite a few decent fights against some household names there. Unless they sort of repeat some of them, matchups with different people, you're going to see the same kind of cards. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every time they do one. Now that the 154 division, you've got Crawford into it. I seem to notice this migration from other divisions that move up with him. I remember when Canelo moved up to 168 from 160. And you had Andrade and who was the other champions there? And as soon as Canelo moved up, Benavidez and Andrade moved up to 168. When he moved, then they've moved up to 175. So I find there's a lot of divisional migration from boxers. 147 used to be really, last year, a couple of years ago was shit hot. Now it's in the bin. 154 is becoming up the new division. Temzu, Madrimov, Crawford, Fundora. God, who else? Quite a few. Some of the good names off the Errol Spence could be coming back. Charlo's rumored to be coming back. So that's going to be a shit hot division.
And
that is your last division, until Tank moves up. And then you're gonna have people when Tank moves up. They're gonna have people at 140 going, I don't want to fight him. I'm off to 147, where it's a bit easier. And then you'll find 135 is moving up to 140 to get a fight with Tank. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll follow the A-siders to get these fights
instead of carving out their own plan. We was talking about the Turkey Al-Sheikh face of boxing, he's very arrogant guy. How he talks to people, how he talks down to people, especially other boxers. How you expect to get far? Yeah, I know fans that you want to see certain fights, but when do we start fighting for our fighters? He's sitting there disrespecting fighters, sitting there, oh, you don't know this, you don't know nothing. You just got into this. You just got into this business. How you gonna tell Canelo or Tim Tszyu or anybody? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Eddie Hunt and
how can you tell them? So the disrespect.
Frank Warren have been blowing smoke up this guy's ass for 2 years.
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing because they're taking his bread. I even seen something that Oscar De La Hoya did when they was both standing next to each other and they was sitting there having an interview and they was talking about oh no, I don't want to do business with Tim Tszyu, and then he was like, oh, this is a partnership. And Oscar didn't say it was a partnership. He changed the story. Turkey Al-Sheikh's trying to put on the big fights. That's what made me smile. I said, Oscar's out here taking a page from Eddie Hearns. They're just going to take all his bread. They're going to use him for his bread. They had the Turkey Al-Sheikh's last card. He had Terence Crawford on there, and and everybody else. This card that PBC has coming up with Canelo is, to me, is a great card as well. You know, they're doing it as well without having to bend over, pause, and bow down to Turkey Al Sheikh. You know, and I totally agree with everybody. Like, he hates the word no. Like my man Dan was saying here, he hates the word no. You can't tell him no, and that's what's wrong with a guy like that being in control of boxing.
You can't have a narcissistic dictator controlling your sport. Big up Jams in the chat for giving me the list of the Ring Magazine top 10
154 pounds.
Super middleweights, right? Light middleweights. There were some of the names: Erickson, Nurbin, Boachuk, of course, Jesus Ramos, Charles Conwell, the new interim champion, Brian Mendoza. So that division will hot up. But who out of that list
and want to disrespect Tim Tszyu? Are you serious? You want to disrespect?
Are you serious, man? Fucking hell. Jive turkey, motherfucker.
Crazy disrespecting Tim Tszyu. So more heart than any fighter in the last how many years? You seen that cut on his face? He could have easily went to the scorecards. Took the
easy route. He could have done, and he'd still be champion today.
10 toes down and fought his heart out. He couldn't see.
Big up Tim Tszyu.
Big heart.
Couldn't see a thing. Blood pour. Eyes dripping with blood.
Crazy. And he got a nerve to disrespect. He had the nerve to disrespect this warrior. It's crazy to me.
That family. That family's been in boxing for 35 years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jab. That cut was horrible. And the fact of the matter that he still sat there. He still sat there. You know what I'm saying? And fought and kept fighting. Come on, Turkey Al Sheikh, you wildin', my brother. You are totally wild. You know what I'm saying?
Boxing kangaroos, stop the disrespect.
In the face of boxing,
look,
Alvarez. In the face of boxing, the Suau, if we had to pick between Turkey Al Sheikh and Canelo, it would definitely be Canelo for the face of boxing. Not trying to beat a dead horse here. We're going to move right along. Announcements coming who are coming out soon, moving right along. But we did talk about the Shakur Stevenson and Zepeda fight, which they're saying that they're going to make. I think it's one hell of a fight. I think the William Zepeda is a monster. This is going to show me everything I needed to know about Shakur Stevenson. I know I said that with the Oscar Valdez fight, but this right here is totally different. I've been calling for this fight before the Oscar Valdez fight. I was saying that Zepeda is a problem. I've been wanting him to get his shot, and he hasn't been getting it. I would have been telling anybody that would listen that William Zepeda is a problem. This is going to show a lot for me. If Shakur Stevenson can get past William Zepeda, by all means, you definitely got to put him on the pound for pound because this is a great test. Shout out to William Zepeda and Shakur Stevenson if this fight is able to be made.
Yeah. Well, it's a mandatory. It should be made. I can't see why. There's no other. For me, there's no other fight out there for Shaq at the minute. Loma's not interested. I heard the whisper that the Tanks team may be in connections, but again, that'll go through Turkey Al Sheikh. So I don't think that fight's going to happen. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Get this, if it was a bad man to treat and understand, oh Christ, who's this guy? But this is William Zepeda. He's a monster. He's a killer in the ring. If he sniffs you're in trouble, he's going to end you. 27 fights. I don't know what his record is. It's high 90% knockout rate. I don't know. But as someone said in the GDM, is Turkey really good for boxing? Within 2 weeks, we've seen 2 controversial decisions under his watch. I can't criticize Turkey for that because, judges' decisions, is not really down to the promoters, I would hope. but we know what boxing is.
I mean,
What would
JDM,
you say to that?
do I think he's good for boxing? I think financially, if he's willing to be a fan and he wants to fork over monies and help put shows together and come in on the back end and help fighters get compensated, yeah. But as a person that is in power, no, because he's shown us the type of person who he is. And that person that can't take no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be able to be a man at the end of the day. Forget money, forget status. That's another reason why a lot of people here in the US don't respect him, because a lot of places in the world, they respect status and they respect money. You know what I'm saying? Like here, like you gotta earn it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't care if you got money. You're still a sucker with money. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. But in a lot of places, they'll give him that respect because he's this, he's that. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? And plenty of
Yeah,
millionaires get knocked out over here. You know what I'm saying? So we don't care. You got to come humble, or you'll get humbled. And that's what I think was wrong with him, and why he had rubbed me the wrong way, is that he didn't come into this sport humble. He came in
no,
arrogant. He came in arrogant. You see how Eddie Hearn has doubted that. Eddie Hearn is not that same man that came into the sport. Oh, I'm gonna dominate the U.S. He's not that. He's smarter. He's wiser now. He's playing chess. Eddie's playing chess. Not like this jerk. He want to come out here and disrespect fighters, saying they don't know boxing, they don't know money, they don't know this, that, and the third because you was inherited some bread. You didn't earn it. You didn't get it from the mud. And you want real ones to respect you because you got money and you didn't earn it. Come on, man. You know we ain't gonna respect that. Daddy
that
gave
doesn't fly. It doesn't fly.
it doesn't fly. So if he just wants to be a fan and he wants to give money, I'm cool with it. But as far as having some type of power in boxing, not at all. Moving right along, Mr. Neutral. Announcements coming. Who will Tank fight next, or who will his next opponent be?
Well, let's think about this. It's not going to be who we want, I would imagine.
Well, who do you want? Let me rephrase that. Who do you want to see Tank in with next?
Actually, I want to see Tank versus Floyd Schofield.
You want to see Tank in there with Scuff? I don't. You think he's ready? I don't
Kid
think.
Austin Schofield.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, you think he's ready for a Tank? That would take it definitely. Yeah,
Was Frankie Martin ready?
but he fought better opposition. At least
Okay.
he has a couple of fights underneath his belt, you know. But even Tank said Frank wasn't ready. He was like, "You're taking this fight a little too soon because you couldn't wait." You know what I'm saying? You couldn't wait. You know.
I mean, I would love that fight, but as James Boxing quite rightly says, I think the Baranchik fight would be up next, but isn't he with Golden Boy?
No,
Or is
no,
it Top Rank?
with Top Rank, and that's
With Top
actually
Rank.
who I
Well,
was
that
thinking.
makes sense then. That
That's
would make sense.
uh,
Would be the Baranchik fight.
do you
But
think?
Floyd Schofield is number 2 across the board now, behind William Zepeda. So he's got to be in line for a big fight soon enough.
Okay.
That's right. Baranchik's the WBA champion, I believe. So
Cool.
he's got that belt.
No,
Baranchik. Sorry, not BA.
WBO.
Yeah, WBO.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be a good fight for Tank. Go in there and just snatch that belt off of him since he can't get the one with Loma. And then Shakur Stevenson's going in there with William Zepeda. And then maybe after that, they can probably get it on. Because I was lugging the fight between Tank and I would stay on the bouncing ball. But right now, I think his next opponent options are out there are you have let's just go the top 10. The top 10 135ers. Number 1 is Tank. Number 2, Lomachenko. Number 3, Williams Zepeda. Number 4 is Shakur Stevenson. Number 5 is the other man with the belt. I don't want to mess up his name.
Baranchik.
Yep. And then there's Raymond Mortiella. He gets number 6. Keyshawn Davison, number 7. Frank Martin, number 8. And Mark Chamberlain, number 9 from the UK. And Andy Cruz from Cuba. So I think more intelligently, I think that I think he would probably try to go for the Ukraine guy for that WBO and try to be unified champion. You know?
It's the only fight that makes sense.
Not an interim unified interim champ, because I always joke that Tank is the interim undisputed champion.
Okay. Okay. We got a comment in there in the session there from Juice. Kid Austin isn't even ready for an Abdullah Mason or Keyshawn. Tank would get clowned for targeting Kid Austin. Mate, sort your head out.
No,
Kid Austin would smoke Keyshawn Davis. He's not number 2 in the rankings for nothing. As for Abdullah Mason, he doesn't want Kid Austin in his life right now.
Tank would get clowned.
He would. Well,
he'll get clowned.
It couldn't be any worse. Was Frank Martin? How high was Frank Martin in the rankings when he fought Tank?
He's number 8. He's ranked number 8.
There you go. So Kid Austin's ranked number 2 at 21, and he he's noteworthy.
And you were talking about the people that he fought, from Rivera and other gentlemen that he had a tough fight winning. He's been winning with two tough guys. That's what they was giving Frank Martin. As far as Kid Austin, he is yet to be tested. So I would love to see him in there with the likes of a Abdullah Mason or a Keyshawn before he goes in there with somebody like
he's called them all out. He wants them all, Kid Austin.
You know what I'm saying? And
Keyshawn Davis doesn't want anything to do with Kid Austin. That's been established by his father. And for me, if I don't want Kid Austin fighting Tank in 3 or 4 years when Tank's in his prime now, 34 against a 25-year-old. I think the boy's good enough now, in my opinion. But that's just me. Okay. That's just me.
3 fights that have to happen, or you would love to see happen this year or next year. 3 fights. I can only come up with 2.
Okay.
And my 2 are Shakur Stevenson versus Tank. I need to see that. I need to see that next year, 2025, And I would just love to see, Tyson Fury versus my main man, Anthony Joshua. For some more reason, I gotta see that fight because I want to see my man AJ. They've been talking down on him for years. Everybody hates on AJ. I don't know what it is, but they hated on him, was talking down on him for years. We all know what he would do to Deontay Wilder, But let's see what he'd do against Tyson Fury, who gave him the most lip, So I would love to see that fight. You know what I'm saying? The real king. You know what I mean? So I would love to see AJ versus Fury. Because, hey, I'm with you, man. I think AJ smokes his boots as well. And I would love to see Shakur Stevenson versus Tank. I don't want to see Crawford and Errol Spence. I don't want to see Errol Spence versus Vergara. To be honest with you, I don't want to see Errol Spence ever again. He already lost to them car crashes, and it was evident in that it's getting worse. And that's what happens with brain injuries. They get worse. And that's why that doctor was signing off on him fighting again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see Errol Spence ever again. But as far as Tank and Shakur, I would love to see that. And my man AJ sparking out Fury, I would love to see that. What do you got for me, Mr. Neutral?
What have I got for you? This year, I want to see a 5-weight world champion in Terence Crawford. I want to see the Janibek fight with Terence Crawford at 160 pounds. And I want to see him beat Janibek. And then the conversation for a fight with Canelo can be made. and whether he's going to be effective or not. And what a prelude for such a fight that would be for Turkey. Could that be, the meeting of minds, as we call this show, between the two later on down the line? Who knows? Let's hope so. Because at the end of the day, we all want to see boxing prosper, but we must have procedures, decency, manners, respect in doing so. If he'd have gone in there, like I said before, the door's closed now, but let's not close it altogether. Let's keep it open. I respect your decision, and we'll talk another time. Let's not take anything off the table for another time. He didn't follow the code. He broke the code, and now he's going to pay for it. Because once you break the code in boxing, it's very hard to come back into that. So I would love that fight for TC. Next, proper test for me, 154.
Would you say about the TC and Canelo real quick? I love your answer right there. That's what I love, Mr. Neutral. The fact that I never skill for skill, right? I think Crawford can hang with a Canelo. To me, it's the weight. Now, if he gradually goes, instead of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna jump from 147 to go fight him, or 154 to go to 168," I think that's ridiculous, especially against a guy like Canelo. But if you take your steps and you do it the right way, like you were saying, go to 160. Feel how you feel at that weight. You know what I'm saying? And then because that will hurt Canelo. People don't realize it. He doesn't have to take every fight. He's not scared of anybody. But you know how that would damaging that will be? You know what I'm saying? Like the backlash you will get. Oh, like look at you did the TC, this blah blah blah, this that and the third. You know what I'm saying? Give the guys at least let him be in his weight class. You know?
Yes.
And that's what. And I totally agree with you. I think if he does that at 160 and then wants some more, then the conversation will be different. I don't think Canelo will be snarling.
You can then talk about a Canelo fight, which is only 7 pounds away or 8 pounds away. So that's the rhetoric we want to see. Now, as far as my second fight this year, Trey Dollar Bill, people are going to absolutely slaughter me for this, but I don't care. I'm Mr. Neutral. I come at you from both sides. I appreciate both sides of the spectrum here. But I want to see Devin Haney rematch Ryan Garcia in a clean contest. Put to bed this argument. I don't think the fight will happen at 140. I don't think the fight will happen at 147. I would happily see the fight at 143 and pay for it. Comes in clean. I want to see this issue put to bed because boxing has suffered under this fight. The backlash, the consequences, the people that have committed themselves online on Twitter to a narrative. This has got to be put to bed rather much in the same scope that other fights needed to happen, like the Crawford Spence fight. This fight is clouded in controversy. We can go back years and years, Cotto, Castillo, fights like them that had to be, settled and put to bed. This is another one for me. And I think it'd be a PPV storm. It'd be an absolute barnstormer of a PPV fight. And if Turkey Al-Sheikh can get his hands on Ryan Garcia, he's in the door.
Shout outs to Jams. You mentioned it's 42 years since we lost Salvador Sanchez. He was 23 years old when he was in that devastating car crash. It's funny that you would mention him because I just mentioned him on Sunday because I was watching old fights. I'm one of these guys, right? People like to talk about basketball and football here in the States and baseball and stuff like that. My number one sport is boxing. I love boxing. Basketball is cool. Football is cool. Yeah, I got a wicked jump shot. But the number one sport for me is boxing. So sometimes I just sit back when I'm got free time or even when I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Throw on old fights. And I just happened to throw on the fight with Salvador Sanchez and Wilfredo Gomez. And I watched that.
Wilfredo Gomez.
It was a good fight against the Puerto Rican star. And it had me thinking about the fight that we got coming up with Canelo and Bellinger. And I was thinking about how in that fight, how it was such a good fight. And Wilfredo Gomez gave Salvador Sanchez all he can handle until, them hooks, the right hands and the lefts was too much for him.
Punishing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's when it was too much for him. So it reminded me and it had me thinking, can Bellinger, who I have dubbed to be the most hated guy in boxing right now, I said, could he gain the respect? Because I don't think he can win, but can he gain the respect of the people like Wilfredo Gomez did when he fought Salvador Sanchez because of the heart he's shown? Can he gain the respect of the people, or will people still clown him if he gets knocked out? That was one of the questions that I had. What do you think? Do you think he can get the respect of the people? If he goes in there and he gives us one of these performances that like Paulie Malignaggi did against Miguel Cotto, remember when he got his cheekbone broken at Madison Square Garden, but he showed so much heart and went on to fight 4 more rounds with a broken, fractured cheekbone. We love Paulie for that. Paulie became a big star, so that's why I'm thinking. Do you think that Bellinger can give us that same energy, or it is what it is? He's just food, beans and rice.
Look, Mr. Neutral brings it to you like this. Only a fool would dismiss Edgar Berlanga as a threat to Canelo Alvarez. As my man Jams, is brilliant statistician.
Much respect to my brother Jams.
Much respect to Jams. He knows the stats.
Got to get you on the show, Jams. Much respect to you, my brother.
He, as he quite rightly says, you don't get as many knockouts as him in his resume without being a threat. This guy brings spite. This guy is physically stronger, bigger, taller. 168, his correct division, yet to be seen. But he's a big, strong power puncher. He's not afraid of Canelo. He's the only boxer which Canelo has actually faced lately that has actually trash talked him. You had Munguia was very receptive, and respectful. John Ryder was the same. Belanga's coming in with spite, a game plan, a will to win that Munguia, John Ryder, and others just haven't got. So for me, to write him off and say this is going to be an easy Canelo knockout is very, very premature in my eyes. But narratives and rhetorics overused, being overused once again. Out of the 2 mandatories that he could have possibly taken, Belanga's far more dangerous than William Skull. 168, I think Belanga's just as dangerous as David Benavidez, in the sense that he possesses power punching. Canelo's a human being. In many fights, I've seen him being hit flush. They've not had the power. Only Bevel has been the one that for me is given him that he's denied Canelo his game plan. Berlanga could do just the same, but he's got to be at his best, and he's got to go in there with a certain amount of spite and a certain amount of disrespect to a point, but always respecting the skill of Canelo. But for me, he's got to disrespect Canelo, but respect him at the same time. I know that's hard to understand. That type
of energy that Antonio Tarver had in the second fight against Roy Jones.
Absolutely, you ain't seeing the same motherfucker yet again. You know what I mean? You're gonna get this guy. So for me, I don't think it's cut and dry. I think we're gonna get a distance fight. I would put money on that it's gonna go the distance. Because Canelo is he's on a managed decline. He's He hasn't knocked out anybody in a while. So for me, I don't see that pattern changing at this time.
I see it a little differently. I see that he can
Go
get
on.
Bellinger out of there, in under 8. I think the young man, he mentioned something that was hilarious to me. He said IQ, and nobody has one of the best IQs in boxing other than Canelo. Canelo has a stellar IQ, and he's been against fighters with amazing IQs. He learned from the best. He lost to the best boxer with the best IQ. That's Floyd Mayweather. And he's been a different fighter ever since he lost. I think he got paid to lose that night because he learned a lot. That was the best loss he could have actually took because it changed the way Canelo fought. Even when you was just talking about taking punches, Canelo, we haven't seen Canelo hurt in a long time because he learned something in that fight with Floyd Mayweather, and that was to roll with the punches. You know, so now when you seen him in the Triple G fight, he wasn't getting hurt in that fight because he was rolling with the punches. You know, so Canelo's IQ is up there. So when Edgar Berlanga brought up the fact that about IQs, this was going to help him win this fight, it made me laugh. I see Berlanga getting hit with the same shot that Amir Khan got hit with. The same shot, that same kind of shot where he's going to fake to go to the body because he's going to go to the body 2 other times. And Belanga's going to go and think that he's swiping away. And when he puts
Yeah.
that hand to go swipe away, that's when he's going to get caught with the shot. He's going to get shot with one of those, faking to go to the body and come up top and get him out of there. That's what I think that he's going to do.
I personally think that let's take John Ryder. He's the common denominator when we talk about Berlanga and Canelo. Canelo went a good distance fight with John Ryder. It was a hell of a fight. Both give it their all. But when I seen Berlanga fight John Ryder, he battered him.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same fight, and they only fought 8 months apart.
You didn't think. I mentioned that as well. I said you didn't think. Look, when Berlanga fight him, he was already getting leftovers that was already beaten and battered. You see, look at his face when he fought Berlanga, and then look at his face when he fought Canelo. He needed tape to keep his nose together. His nose was ripped apart. But John Ryder needed tape to keep his face together. That's how bad that Canelo whooped on him. Canelo softened him up for he softened him up for Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? You know,
so you can't soften up a tough Londoner like John Ryder.
I wish we had the pictures.
It's not. It's like tanning leather. That's like tanning leather.
He was just he beat it on him, and that's what gave people the idea of that this fight could have been made.
You guys mean Munguia? Was it Munguia that beat John? Oh God, I can't remember now.
John Ryder, yeah, it was Munguia.
Oh shit, yeah, let's just put my point out the window then. I thought it was Berlanga.
Yeah, we give him
Berlanga. See what I mean? Big up Jams.
He would not. John Ryder would have knocked out Berlanga.
No, fuck out of here. But you know, but no, I mean, Canelo's just great. And you know, at the end of the day, on his night, he can decide what round he wants to finish it. He can decide how far, by how many rounds that he wants to win. But yeah.
But once again, yes, iBoxingHub, yeah, they're reminding us once again, R.I.P. to the Mexican legend.
Absolutely. And what a monster he was. 23 years of age. And he don't, if I'm not mistaken, did he beat Wilfred Benitez?
No. Wilfredo Gomez.
Oh, Wilfredo Gomez, that's right.
Yeah. The Puerto Rican star. Yeah, he ended up beating him. But to me, he didn't get a chance. You know, everybody know to me the greatest Mexican fighter of all time to me is Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. You know, I know that with accomplishments, you know, Canelo surpassed him and is number 1, and then you know Chavez has even said he's number 2. You know, but to me Chavez will always be number 1. But you know, I know it's Canelo's number 1, Chavez number 2, and Salvador Sanchez Number 3, even though he would be number 1, he just didn't get the time. But what we seen, from old tapes and old fights, he was definitely that one. He was definitely that guy. He didn't fear nobody. Boxing IQs. We always give Chavez for having the best left hook. But if you watch the Salvador Sanchez's left hooks, the way that he threw those shots, he never wasted anything. He was economical with his shots, and when he landed really hard. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no joke in there. So shout out to Salvador Sanchez and to his family and his legacy. It will continue to go on as long as we are here loving boxing and representing boxing like we would do. And that's what we're going to be doing now on Across the Way. We're going to be doing fighter shout outs. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's only right. And while I have this platform, I would love to shout out fighters and profile fighters on this platform and let them know that they're appreciated and show them that we got love for them. So that's something that I'm going to be doing here, is profiling fighters and giving them their flowers, because a lot of these fighters like Salvador Sanchez didn't get the chance to receive his flowers because he was going way too soon. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to start profiling fighters and giving them their flowers and showing them love right here on Across the Way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching with another episode of Across the Way. Shout out to Mr. Neutral. That's my guy. Meetings of the Minds. Every time we do Meetings of the Minds, it's going to be with Mr. Neutral. This is my guy right here. We got another show coming up. That's going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout out to the whole iBoxingHub family. And I want to say to our brother Ricco, get well. I know you're dealing with a loss right now, and our hearts is with you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? You are not alone. You know what I'm saying? We are family. You dig? Mr. Neutral, let the people know where they can find you at.
Well, if you don't know by now, guys, it's Twitter, Mr. Neutral. And on Instagram, it's Neutral's Corner .boxing. You follow me there. Follow iBoxingHub. Follow Dollar Bill. Follow Aisha Green Diamond Boxing. Stay Weed Den. Ra from Punch Out Boxing. All the guys. We're all here for you, the community, here made by the community for the community. And thanks very much. And also don't forget my host tonight, the one and only Ray Dollar Bill.
Yeah, you already know. You know where you can catch me. You can catch me on YouTube. You can catch me on Twitter. You can catch me on Instagram. And you can catch me on Sundays on the Boxing Bros. I'm one half of the Boxing Bros, but you can catch me all on these platforms as Ray Trilogy. That's TRILLOGY. You already know what it is. And before we get out of here, D-Rock Clothing. We'll give a shout out to our D-Rocks, our sponsors, D-Rock Clothing. Once again, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Across the Way, U.S. to the UK. Say what's up, Sab. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Sab?
Everybody, thank you for tuning in, and I hope that y'all have a blessed night, and you will catch us next week. Same channel, same time. Across the Way for the U.S. to the UK. Much love, much respect. It's my brother, Mr. Neutral. I'm the commissioner, Trill Dollar Bill. We out of here.
Feels good. We're gonna go to Boston to Cali on this one. Level up on these niggas.